Hello there, album enjoyers.
Dearest album enjoyers, we speak to you now very briefly to quickly plug the Enjoy an Album Patreon, aka Becoming an Ultra.
We are plugging Becoming an Ultra. Not the things that you get by being an Ultra, we are plugging the experience of becoming an Ultra.
If that's not the number one reason to become an Ultra, I don't know what is. No. It's just £5 per month. If you've ever listened to this podcast and thought, I like these fellas, I enjoy listening to their 4 free hours of content that they put out every month, I would like to purchase them a pint or a coffee one time. This is a way of doing that. But you get exclusive content in return.
You get exclusive content in return. You get full episodes on albums such as...
recently we did Grimes
Visions, Ed Sheeran's Divide.
Yes, we did Anoni and the Johnsons. We did the Pogues.
And the Pogues.
We did
Rum Sodomy and the Lash by the Pogues.
The Foo Fighters.
Yeah, that was a sad one.
We did Idols. Black Country New Road.
Yeah.
Also,
Ants from Up Here.
You would have access to the Edinburgh Fringe Enjoy an Album live show.
We done a live show at Monkey Barrel Comedy Club. We fucking ripped it and shipped it. People were saying that's...
People were saying it's one of the best things they've ever seen in their lives, including The Godfather. They said it was better than The Godfather.
People actually did say that it was the funniest thing they'd seen at the Fringe, and they weren't even fucking worms, never mind ultras. They were just like, that was really funny.
Yeah, like...
They didn't even like us as people, and they went, that was funny.
Yeah.
Which is mental.
Yeah, so get on that. You also get ad-free experience.
Some of my biggest enemies have said that that's the best thing I've ever seen.
Barack Obama himself was in the audience. Chris Rowe, that was... let me be clear. That was a fantastic live show.
Let me be clear. I hate you. But that's funny.
Zane Lowe has watched it twice.
Zane Lowe, he played it on his... He played the whole live episode.
He dropped it twice in a row.
Just like Barack Obama dropped bombs on various countries.
That was a fantastic live show. So you also get episodes a day early, and you get exclusive access to tickets for live shows when they do go on sale.
Ad-free experience. You don't have to hear this shite.
This shite every goddamn week, and we forget to do a new one every month. So sometimes it's 3 months of the same advert.
Yep.
This has probably gone on long enough. You understand what I'm saying. Become an Ultra today. Patreon.com/enjoy an album. Link in bio.
Just be sound and do it.
So, this is coming out on Boxing Day.
Happy Boxing Day to everybody who celebrates it.
And the patrons would have got this on Christmas Day.
Oh.
So the Ultras, I'm imagining, paused Christmas dinner, said, Mum, Dad, Auntie, Uncle, if they have the big family who come over on Christmas Day, Nan, Granddad, if they're still alive and they come over on Christmas Day. Mm-hmm. I stop chatting turkey. The boys are on.
Stop chatting turkey, stop chatting shit.
Let's
fucking Granddad saying a bunch of racist stuff. High face him with a pud.
A pud?
Pud face him. Pud face that racist clown.
Fucking Cuba Pudding Jr.
Cuba Pudding Jr. Call your granddad Cuba Pudding Jr. Say, we're not watching the fucking Queen's speech. We're watching Enjoy an Album.
Yes, on YouTube. We're not putting James Bond on for the 15th time. We are going to huddle around as a family, just like they did in the 1920s, and watch Enjoy an Album. Are they talking about a Christmas album? No. Are they talking about one of the biggest, important releases of the year? No. Yes. They are talking about a weird re-release of a Daft Punk album from 10 years ago that has no drums on it. It's Christmas Day.
Yeah, It's a Wonderful Life. Here's a great thing about that film. See, if he had access to our podcast, he would never have tried to kill himself.
It's an interesting parallel, actually, because It's a Wonderful Life. The man dared to ask, what would happen if I was never born? And this album, Daft Punk
What would happen if drums were never born?
What would happen if drums never existed?
Old Mr. Paddy.
And then Giorgio Moroder comes down and says, well, it would sound a bit like this.
My name is Giovanni Gabriel, but my friends call me Gabriel.
Expecting quite a chaotic episode, I think. So, hey, Merry Christmas if you are listening on Christmas Day.
Merry Christmas.
Throwback to JLS. Who was it who said it sounded like me? I think it was Roscoe first.
Every person who's ever heard you speak said that.
The famous clip from TV Burp. Harry Hill, what a real one.
You know, I know we rip them off every week with
Unhinged YouTube comment of the week. It's an homage.
It's an homage.
Yeah. It's not plagiarism. If you say it's an homage. I loved TV Burp, and I honestly, if they were like, right, TV Burp can come back, but you have to give 10% of your earnings, I'd be like, fair enough. That's the sort of taxes I'm willing to pay.
I'm not happy to fund illegal wars in the Middle East.
I mean, if you could maybe just reroute some of those weapons manufacturing tax dollars and give it straight to Harry Hill's big collar. Yeah. I want his collar to get bigger and bigger for every penny of the taxpayers' money he puts into burping.
I want BAE systems to stand for Burp Airy Excellent Systems. All right? I don't want missiles. I want fucking TV Burp.
Absolutely. Free Harry Hill.
Yeah. Don't tread on me. But, you know, at the end of the day, he's great. And Christmas is great. I hope if you're an ultra, Merry Christmas. I hope you do. Maybe go for a walk around 9 p.m.
If you're a worm, then less Merry Christmas, but still have a nice day.
Boxing Day is truly one of the most depressing days.
Do you think so?
Come down day.
Oh, do you know what though? But see, this is where, as a non-football fan, you are left in the mud because Boxing Day is a great day for British football. Yeah, lot of great football games in that day.
You feel bad for the players; they can't enjoy a lovely roast turkey with their family.
They get paid $100,000 a week. It's fine. Yeah. It's okay.
It's okay.
I do not care. Coughing. Right. Enjoy La Ep. This is, I think, is it the last one of the year? It will be then. So. I think that's how it works. So a happy new year to ultras and worms, and to all a good night. Enjoy the Ep. It's Daft Punk. Hey, are your pubes too hairy? Do you need help with that?
Your groin too hairlicious? Hirsute?
Is there too much of a positive environment for crabs and lice?
Too much fuzz on your coos?
When you get undressed in front of someone you wish to have sexual time with, are you embarrassed by the state of your nether regions?
Having an examination done by a doctor and you're self-conscious about how hairy your balls and bits are?
Us too. What a shame there's no solution for this kind of problem.
No, wait, there is.
What?
Manscaped.
Oh my God, what is that? Tell me more.
Not manscaping, not manscaper, manscaped.
Only a stupid person would have called it that by accident 10 times in a row.
Yes.
Only an idiot.
It's the below the belt grooming experience. It's not blade free, it's blade full.
It's blade full.
It's cut free. You won't cut
free.
I'm literally closing my eyes in the shower in the fucking rain coming down. I shower in the rain and I'm just not even looking, just buzzing.
If you do look, there's a little handy torch which highlights where you're about to trim. Yes.
I've never used the torch. That's cool.
Yeah,
it's attached to the lawnmower?
Yeah, there's a light that comes on that shows you exactly where you're trimming.
So you can do it in the dark with your eyes closed and you still hit the remote.
You can do it dark, with your eyes closed, in the shower. It's waterproof. You can charge it using USB-C. So you can unplug your phone if you've got a USB-C, plug it straight into your pube trimmer.
You're
ready to go. You're on a train. Please only use these
your phone's
plug
up to
sockets
75%
for phones, laptops, and pube trimmers.
That's why they have that sign. Don't do that. But what you should
Sometimes I go into a coffee shop and I sit near a plug socket and I plug my lawnmower in so that I could jump into the bathroom, keep it fresh all times. I never want to see a single hair on my balls, otherwise I cry.
Yeah, I've got a cock like a dolphin.
It's grey and endangered.
Just if you want a funny gift for someone, or
it's not funny.
It's not funny. It's fucking useful. Serious.
Enjoy an album. No, what's the code again? Manscaped album 20. God Almighty!
You get 20% off.
Can you believe we get paid for this? Album 20 for % off your first purchase and ongoing purchases. I think
if you don't have a cock and balls, you can do it on other stuff, but it's mainly made for the cock and balls.
It's got the word "man" in the title. Let's be honest.
Let's not get into that topic, man, but hey, it's good.
It's good stuff.
The pants are good.
And the underwear, the anti-chafing material is to die for. That's album 20. Don't die for it. Enjoy. Thank you. Bye.
You're listening to Enjoy an Album, the podcast where two comedians listen to some of the greatest albums of all time.
In the electronic landscape of the 1990s, Daft Punk first came over as a novelty. Funny band, funny name, funny sound, funny masks, and a funny and incredibly fun hit called Da Funk. Found on their debut album Homework, they've come a long way since, but the playfulness remains, and so does their ability to surprise you every new step in their career, whether positive, the landmark Discovery, negative, the inert human after all, their forgettable score for Tron, or somewhere in between, the film Electroma, has been met initially with a sense of puzzlement. Now, what's this all about? Which I think is the perfect lead-in to...
what this all about?
Now, what's this all about? Did I say, now what this all about? I am saying that. It's French, isn't it? No, what is this all about?
How do you say, what is this?
What is this? We want to play a random access memories, but with zero percussion.
Yes, this is the drumless version of Daft Punk's Random Access Memories, which already had a 10th anniversary remaster this year.
It really does. I mean, what this all about?
What this all about?
Why do you think they have done this? Is it a sort of cynical Swiftian, and by that I mean Taylor, not Jonathan, sort of record, like, we've got fans who will buy anything?
Do you know, honestly, I was thinking about this. I was like, why have they done this? And do you know how I was talking about where there was two national records that came out? There was like one had kind of more electronic poppy production, and another one was like, oh, we're a rock band and the drummer's playing drums.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, we just jammed this live. It's like those are the two sides of the creative like forces in that band.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who wants to be a big pop band and someone who wants to be in a rock band, and they go, okay, we'll do it this time, we'll do that time. I honestly feel like they split up recently, and it's the guy who doesn't do the drums was like, I'm not having that cunt's drums in this.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
But
quite cheeky.
But I feel like there's still enough musically of them both in there.
But we don't know. I mean, genuinely don't know what the division of labour is between them. I would say one of them probably does the drums, and he's like...
Do you think so?
And the other one's like, okay,
so
nobody could hear my fucking...
yeah. So to get him back, the other guy's gonna be like, okay, now we're releasing a drums only version of Random Access.
I was listening to. It's not even the drums. It's just how do you say me beatboxing? Is that what you say? Beatboxing.
Yeah, boxing the beat. I remember when I first boxed the beat in by the Eiffel Tower when I was but a little boy. If you're not a fan of us doing accents, it's going to be a long episode.
It's going to be long.
That's what Daft Punk Robot would say that like. Correct. Well, welcome to Enjoy an Album.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty cool.
I was listening to BBC Six Music recently.
BBC Six Music.
Music coming up shortly.
And now, Wet Leg for the 500th time today.
I was listening to
that was the synth only version of Random Access Memories.
And it was Jams Supernova.
Yes.
Is that her name, or Supernova Jams?
Oh, Jams Supernova.
Jams Supernova.
Mm-hmm.
First name Jams, second name Supernova.
Actually, it's Jams Nova, middle name Super.
Right, okay. And she was saying she was just going to go, I'm going to do 20 minutes where it's just drums.
Yes.
So she got like 5 songs in a row that was just drums.
Great.
And she was like, it might not work, but I'm going to give it a bash anyway. And I was like, it did not work, but I enjoyed it.
Well, I mean... we may be saying that sentence again by the end of this episode, but
spoiler alert. Yes.
I think that's one of the reasons. So I first listened to Six Music when they cancelled it.
Oh,
this happened like 15 years ago or something.
I remember that. People were up in arms.
Well, but there were loads of bands. I heard of Six Music first because the Save Six Music campaign.
What bands were you into who were part of that campaign?
Radiohead
did it?
Yeah. They were like, this is a really important music station. So then I started listening to it, and then it's been a constant in my life, ever since then. All of my life, listen to it. My nits, they're big Six Music heads. They're big Liam heads. They're on my head.
Heads.
Yeah, for sure. They love getting head on my head.
Imagine you had head lice and they were sucking the horrible wee lice cock on your head. You would honestly just kill yourself if you found that out. You would be happy.
Yeah, it depends really. I mean, if you've got lice, then they might as well be sucking each other off, I guess. What difference does it make to
I
you?
better take a break for sucking the blood through my scalp and start sucking each other's wee lice cocks.
I mean, if there's one thing we know about lice, it's that they like to suck.
yeah, 100%.
What
When
do
was
you-
the first time you... When was the first time you heard Daft Punk, do you think?
So, I mean, all of their big early hits were kind of, I mean, they were massive, weren't they? One more time.
more time.
Gotta celebrate.
Oh, yeah. All right. You
Work
got
it,
to
make it,
dance
do it. Makes us do it.
One more time. I think we already covered that last week, but maybe it was the Jay Cinnamon, but I love that tweet where it was like, Old Lang Syne.
Yeah, you did. You did say that.
I
Very funny.
still think it's good.
And you know what? It's stuff like that you go, Twitter can still bring it.
Honestly,
Sorry. X, formerly known as Twitter, can still bring the goods.
at what point do you think it's going to get to where calling it Twitter is going to be like calling them opal fruits?
I don't think ever. I
I don't think so either.
anybody ever truly accepted that it's called X. People still
I
call it
said
tweets.
that about Morrison's.
Well, what's Morrison's called
It
now?
was Safeways. Exactly.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that's true.
Morrison's with Safeway.
I don't think that's true.
Okay, you're wrong.
My brother worked at Safeway,
Mm.
so I actually have an inside track. I know for certain that Morrison's and Safeway coexisted.
Maybe in England, in Scotland, in the one Safeway I went to when I was a wee boy, it became a Morrison's.
Right. Well, here's the thing. Did that individual Safeway close down and the Morrisons take over the space? You quite certain about that?
For the listener, I've been shaking my head.
This
for
is the
about
sort of
20
thing that
minutes.
people tune into this podcast for. Us debating whether or not Safeways became Morrisons.
One more time.
Got to celebrate. So there was omnipresent. That music,
with
wasn't it?
That because it's that Vigo. What's his name?
Vigo Venn.
Vigo Venn. He used that for his dance. But
Yeah.
I saw a video of him doing it another time, and he used a different song.
Yes.
What was the other song?
I can't remember, but I happen to know that there was a licensing issue, so they had to find another
But
song
One
for
More Time,
BGT.
Perfect, because he's doing it one more time.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
It makes. I think the other one doesn't really make any sense.
I mean, none
No
of it really
offense to
makes
Vigo.
much sense.
No,
That's
no.
the whole kind of point, isn't it?
But if the song's going one more time, and you take your jacket off, and you put a jacket, and then one more time, because that's what happens in the song as well. He says one more time loads of times.
When my brother's children were on holiday with their mum, and my brother was staying at home, they were missing their dad. So he made them a video of him dancing to One More Time, where he took off a load of shirts for them. That's how big Vigo is now. that
Yeah.
My brother is recreating the shirt thing for his
But when he
kids,
was just like, I run about.
being rude to staff.
Anyway,
Leave that in.
leave that.
Leave that
Leave
fucking
that.
in.
Leave that. Leave that. Good guy, but leave that. You go if you're looking for support. I can also take a jacket off.
Imagine that's what his support act came out. He just came out and just took off trousers slowly, one after another. It's like, wow, it's cool they get someone who's like a bit similar to open for him. It's just him just taking 15 pairs of trousers off
Yeah.
to faster,
He's
harder,
like,
stronger.
You go, man. I'm fucking. It's not the same thing. I'm fucking take my trousers off. You cunt. I'm fucking take my trousers off. You take your jacket off with me.
So Daft Punk have been omnipresent, right? But I do remember, and I mentioned this earlier, and you seemed like you didn't know this, which I'm excited about. There was a video, early YouTube, called Daft Hands. And I remember this was big between me and my friends. My friend Jono showed me. And the video's still there today, and it's one of those cool YouTube videos. Sometimes you find something and it feels like you found like an artifact in a museum because it says on it like posted 16 years ago.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God. And even that, I think it can't be the original posting of it because the maths don't make sense. I think it is older than that. But it was someone had written the lyrics to Harder, Better, Faster, Stronger.
Do it better, make
Yes,
it stronger.
and
Our
so-
work is never over.
Does a dance with their hands to reveal the different lyrics as the song goes
Perfect
along.
lyrics video with, it was great. I do remember that actually.
Yeah, and we were just obsessed with it. And so I don't know if anyone had YouTube comment of the week because all of the YouTube comments to this video it's one of the most wholesome comment sections I've seen on the internet in some time because there's so
Daft
many
Punk
people.
inspires real, genuine.
There's so many people saying, oh my God, I can't believe this video is still here. I remember watching it and now I'm showing it to my daughter who is 15. And you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. No, the early days, I remember fucking somebody being like, have you heard the
You remember
YouTube?
fucking somebody? That's cool, man.
Fucking someone.
Harder, better, faster, stronger.
None of those things.
There was a few different like offshoots of that video where like there was one where there was two girls who had written it on their bodies in different parts and sort of did a dance moves, and it was
such a cool song. I listened to that song this week and I was like, see the bit where it really goes. Yeah. That bit.
Did you have the app? There was the app where you could push the buttons, the Daft app. So you'd have one. There'd be a button at work it, do it, makes us stronger, and you could do it in any order. And there was a snare. I don't think it's a snare. Is it click maybe? So you could make your own song on there. Very satisfying to play. That was an early fun app. That and we've
spoke about it.
The beer drinking app
led to your debilitating alcoholism, probably that.
That and me being in a big massive French techno band. They both sort of started with those early apps.
I thought you were going to say big massive Irish family. I was like, that's xenophobic to yourself. I got an unhinged YouTube comment of the week. I got two, and they're both basically the same. I'll do the longer one. Unhinged YouTube comment of the week.
Unhinged YouTube comment of the week. For fuck's sake. Come on,
you're drinking your zero sugar Coca-Cola.
I'm not belching into the microphone mid-jingle. What's wrong with you? It's disgusting.
Daft Punk did that.
That's why they're wearing helmets all the time. They're so gassy.
Our burp is fucking stinking. Okay, so this is 3 weeks ago on the Get Lucky YouTube.
I'm up all night to get some. I'm up all night to get fun. I'm up all night to get fun.
I'm up all night to shag lucky. Okay, so this was Check 2822 3 weeks ago. And he said, wow, this is the only song I've had make me cry from memories. Not sad at all. I'm not that old. 14 when I post this. This just reminds me so much of spending the whole day messing in our basement with my brother when I was about 0 to 9 years old.
Is the brother dead?
I just miss this so much. My brother is still alive. Oh.
Right, okay. Good. Thanks for clarifying.
My brother is still alive. Nothing's happened. We are just a family that moves a lot. Not military or anything.
Okay.
Daft Punk just brings back so many good times messing with my brother in the basement.
So my brother, who I still live with and I'm friends with, this reminds me of a time when we played together, which was yesterday.
I just want to go back to simpler times. It's still simple now.
Not military. That sounds like they are military, but have been told not to tell anyone.
Yeah.
My dad's not in the CIA.
So he's 14 and he's like, I just want to go back to when I was 0 to 9.
0 to 9.
Can you be nostalgic when you're 14?
For being
0 to 9?
0 to 9. They were the real golden years of my life. Between the ages of 0 and 9. That second you hit 10, shit just gets so real.
That's how that one's mental as well. It's like, this
I remember my 10th birthday, man. I was so depressed. Just like, fuck, man, I'm an adult.
I'm double figs. I do remember being double figs and being like, this is fun.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm 10.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so this is
I just want to go back to that time with my brother goofing around. He's still alive.
He's still alive.
But he's not in the army.
I still live with him. And we're both teenagers. What are you talking about? Anyway, this other one is basically the same. The Kaleido K1543 4 months ago says, guys, I can remember this song and I haven't heard it in years, for real. When I was like 2 years old.
When I was 2? What the fuck?
So he's 12.
He's 12 years old. Oh, man, I remember listening to this when I was 2.
When I was
what
like
a
2
summer.
years old. I love this song and asked my parents about the name of the song, but I didn't know the lyrics, and now nostalgia kicks
You asked,
so much.
You were 2 years old and you went, Mummy, what's the name of this song?
The one where it goes, I'm up all night to get fun. We're up all night to get lucky.
Don't worry about it,
We're up all night to get. We're up all night to get. We're up all
and
night to
that
get.
was famously Sound of the Summer, Limmy's tweet as well, wasn't it?
Yes.
If you have a chance, listen to Daft Punk's Get Lucky, Sound of the Summer.
We'll get to the record. We kind of have jumped in a wee bit, but it's like, it's a very meme-ified song.
Yeah, well, they're a meme-ified band.
Yeah, I mean,
that Giorgio. My name is Giovanni Giorgio, but my friends call me Giorgio. You seen all the videos of that? Really funny.
One more. take off.
Yeah, so there's
as the thing comes in,
a video of a lawnmower just like on its own, just like speeding along, and then as the music kicks in, it somehow goes flying into the air.
How does it do that?
I think it must be.
How do they always do that?
The lawnmowers. How do
they do that?
They're flying? They
We're
do that though. They don't.
They do that, don't they? You don't really.
Right.
I don't know.
Let's secret. Partial.
Makes sense. Don't go.
Quick one today. Guy Manuel de Homem Cristo is the Daft Punk.
So quadruple barreled name. That's kind of
Quadruple barreled name. Yeah, he's got a double barreled first name. Guy Manuel, which just means man twice. Guy Manuel de.
and then Hom, which means man as well.
This is the manliest cunt that's ever existed.
Man the Hom Christ. Man the man Christ.
Yeah, wow. Holy shit. Okay, we've got Guy Manuel de Homem Cristo and Thomas Bangalter are Daft Punk. Guy Manuel is the great grandson of Portuguese poet Homem Cristo Filho.
You're going to say Manuel from 40
He's a great grandson of 40 Towers Manuel.
You may have heard his auntie getting railed by a sex offender on the radio.
As well as the great grandson of Portuguese military figure Francisco Manuel Homem Cristo. So he comes from a military background. His dad is in the military, and he just misses his brother.
He's still alive.
He's still alive.
And Get Lucky by Daft Punk just reminds me.
Yeah. His great grandfather, military figure Francisco Manuel Homem Cristo, is still alive. And he was forced into exile in France in 1910. So if he was a famous military figure in 1910,
He was forced into exile in France.
yeah,
France was always doing that. Have you saw that Napoleon film?
No,
They were
I haven't.
exiled that cunt twice. Honestly,
yeah. There was stuff going on with Portugal at that time, wasn't there? Whereas like politically,
Portugal, not Spain. So.
yeah. So I mean, look, the thing is though, they went to a public school, so I don't know if they're super posho. But then if your dad is like,
I just want to say shout out to the French education system. Do you know that their school lunches are like 5-course meals, even at the poorest schools?
5 courses. That just seems that's impractical.
People. No, but it's like because it's French cooking.
I couldn't go to maths today because I was too busy eating my 5th plate of snails. What are you talking about?
What the fuck? They'll have
They eat snails.
soup, then they'll have a piece of fruit.
Right.
And they'll have, obviously, it sounds very similar to normal school.
Yeah, I had a 5-course lunch
like-
in my lunchbox. I had a penguin chocolate bar. I had a sandwich.
Right, but they have like
I had a
fucking
pear.
ratatouille or something. They have fucking real good food.
Right.
Shout out. Sorry.
Shout out to the French education system.
Shout out to the French
There's like a
education
French
systems.
version of Jamie Oliver who's fucking killing it, man.
He's like, we should be feeding
We do
them
not
hot
want
dogs.
no turkey dinosaurs for lunch, please. Not in my kitchen.
Thomas Bangalter's dad was a songwriter and a music producer. Thomas Bangalter
baby.
had piano lessons from a staff member at the Paris Opera House from the age 6.
Okay. All right. Okay.
They went to a public school in Paris called Lycée Carnot. It is a public school, but it did have a pretty long alumni. It was all French cunts, though. I didn't know who any of them were, apart from Jacques Chirac, who was obviously the president of France.
These cunts. Defo. Secret. Partial.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. They certainly weren't doing. There's no, sometimes these bios, there's like, that whilst they were producing the album, they worked as pizza delivery boys.
No.
We'll explain where they got the helmets, but
Well, they're not fucking cheap. Robot heads.
no, that's especially not in fucking 1991.
When they have like all gold hands and stuff, and it's obviously they had a couple of hours before this to make that money. But
Well, in fact, there was an early picture of them like talking to Enemy and stuff, and they were just wearing Halloween masks. So to be fair to them, they didn't start off with the robot heads.
yeah,
They built on it from there.
sure.
So I'm going to say a no posho for Guy Manuel de Homem Cristo and Thomas Bangalter.
You cannot injection X.
Yeah, but it's a public school. I think here's the thing, right? And you get this a lot in when we do like London artists who happened to go to like the most central secondary school in London. It's
You
like
shouldn't be going.
you are going to get. Well, did go to a boarding school, but you are going to get. Yeah, and there's loads in LA as well. They're just regular schools that happen to be
It's a different
in the
privilege.
mix. Well, yeah, for sure.
You
But
know, somebody who lives in a. It's like imagine you were a comedian in Scotland, but you didn't live in Glasgow or Edinburgh.
exactly.
It's painfully hard.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about 7 hours of public transport just to do one gig a week. That's there is a kind of privilege to being in a metropolitan city.
I agree with that, but I don't
As
know.
an Essex boy, you were outside the action. You know?
Fucking Essex. So I would say that they have a form of privilege, sure, but maybe they're not the big posh. They're not big posh freaks.
Also, you get fucking piano lessons for an opera house.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't. Yeah,
So they've re-released this album, right?
this album came out 10 years ago.
Did you listen to it the first time around?
No,
Me neither, but it was a huge monumental event, wasn't it?
it was huge and it got amazing reviews. It was like album of the year for a lot of people.
I heard loads of the songs on it, and I liked Daft Punk, so I don't know why I really didn't listen to it. Maybe it was certainly a period in
Was
which
the
I
Get
was.
Lucky effect,
Yeah.
or you were under the influence.
I was. I mean, though I wasn't interacting much with music or anything that was coming out at that point, other than what was coming out of my ass, which was mainly booze and drugs.
You were shitting booze and drugs. That's not how you do it.
Yeah, so that's why I had to give up.
Yeah.
Forgot
how to drink.
Yeah, I had a drinking problem for sure. And
You were just douching yourself with vodka.
But there's like 4 or 5 songs on here that went on to be like big hits.
I don't think I heard any of these songs other than Get Lucky, which I heard.
What about Lose Yourself to Dance?
Lose yourself to dance. Not in the same
or
way.
Instant Crush with Julian Casablancas.
Julian Casablancas.
Yeah, like I knew all the Game of Love. Yeah, no, I definitely knew plenty of songs on the album, but I don't think I'd sat and listened to it all the way through. It's an hour and 15 minutes, isn't it?
Come on, 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 and it just goes up to this great real robot shit.
I mean, yeah, for sure. I had a long read this morning there was an article that basically chronologicized. Is that a word? Probably not.
Absolutely not.
But you know what I mean. It went in chronological order of the marketing.
Chronologically documented.
It chronologically documented the marketing of this album.
Yeah, they've done a weird way of putting it out. Where the first video was just like a 60-second clip of them.
Yeah, well,
bass.
they basically they really nailed it, and it's kind of looked on now as one of the best rollouts of an album of the last 20, 30 years. They took inspiration from like Thriller by Michael Jackson, where they're like, they knew they wanted to basically sell it as this is a huge monumental event, this album coming out, and they did that without releasing or showing any of the music. So they'd have these, I mean, just billboards everywhere of pictures of Daft Punk in their helmets, and they would have maybe like 20 seconds of music. Then they released all the interviews with all of the collaborators, but without any of the music, sort of to build this like mystique and this tension. What is this album? So that the idea was so that fans would cling on to every little bit of information and just fill in all the gaps themselves and sort of lore build, which meant that they didn't have to do anything. Fans and music heads and industry people were doing it all for them. And then, do you know where they launched the album officially?
No.
In a town, I've got this written down somewhere. Let me find it. In a town in Australia called Weewa.
Why did they do that?
Again, for that mythologizing, everyone does it in LA or Coachella or whatever. But these guys, they went to, it was an agricultural festival in Weewa.
That's weird.
It was 2013, so it was like early viral, you know what I mean? Like, this is what is going to get much more media attention and, add to the whole, these guys are fucking auteurs and they're just doing it their own way. So, it's an agricultural festival in the Gold Coast that like 2,000 locals go to and have fucking tractor races and shit. And then Daft Punk were there.
Wow.
Releasing one of the biggest albums of the decade.
Yeah. Big time. No, it was huge. I think I just heard Get Lucky and I was like, I don't want to listen to an album for the Get Luckies. And now I realise it's not that.
Yeah, but I mean, the Get Lucky effect as well kind of went on, ricocheted throughout the rest of the decade.
I
Really,
think I
didn't
had
it?
Pharrell Williams fatigue. I had
Yeah.
Fatigue Williams.
He had a big hat,
He had a huge hat.
And
I
he had
saw a guy with a hat like that the other day and I was like,
a Mountie.
he was not a mountie. It was like a trendy guy.
Right, wearing a big hat in public.
Yeah.
That's crazy. In
Yeah.
2023.
Yeah.
Wow.
He looked cool, but I was like, come on.
The hat's never been, Pharrell was having a big decade for sure, and the ricochets of Get Lucky were felt throughout the pop world. I mean, I don't think you've got, what's the bump? Bum 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 bum. Bruno Mars. Yeah, I don't think you'll have an Uptown Funk without Get Lucky.
But was that not a collabo with Pharrell?
Yeah,
but I just remember the trio of Happy, where Pharrell Williams was like, I feel like a room with a side of hey, hey, hey. And then it was like Get Lucky, where he was like, I'm up all night to get fun. So it's like, oh, he's not just happy, he's horny.
Yeah.
And then completely getting rid of the happiness. And then Bloodlines, he's just a full-on rapist.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, the trifecta of man.
I guess.
3 different types of guy. Happy, horny, sexually problematic.
Yeah.
There's the 3 different types of guy.
Yeah.
We've got 2 of them right here.
Bloodlines is stinking.
Of course.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Really bad.
You know who else had an insane decade?
Who?
Emily Ratajkowski, who was in that video naked.
Oh, yeah.
And then just went on to being in everything.
Is she?
She was in Call of Duty.
I didn't play Call of Duty.
That was the Emily Ratajkowski effect. She went on to be in absolutely everything.
I think your algorithm's been affected by your own interests.
No!
It's so interesting how
She had a big decade!
The big something, I'll tell you that much. But
What?
PR person getting all this work, I'll tell you that much. Because I genuinely don't think... it is interesting how... I speak to somebody recently and they were like, I think it's so crazy how people's timelines are just full of like what's going on in the world. And I was like, do you know, a lot of people's aren't. Yeah. Yours is because you are interested in that and it feeds you more stuff the more you click on it. But most people go, and scroll past and then they'll get more puppy videos or something, you know what I mean? But you feel like everybody's getting the same shit that you get.
I wonder if...
And that's how I feel about your relationship to Emily Ratajkowski's big dudes.
I think it is going to be interesting, actually, over the next 10 years as the algorithm, continues.
Sharpens.
It's burning through culture. In that, cultural touchstones of the last... So we could look back on the 10s now and say Pharrell Williams, Emily Ratajkowski.
But yeah, I don't think she was a big part of mine. I wish she was bigger now.
But I think she... I mean...
For me?
But this is what I'm saying. You've missed out on that, but like she was a big...
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? She had a big decade, right? For lots of people.
For you, maybe.
For you, maybe.
That's a pretty big decade. For you, maybe. Depending on your algorithm.
She was like posting topless pictures with Kim Kardashian. You don't remember that?
I try to... I mean, I'm not like some... What you thought wives should be famous for having a big house. I'm not that type of guy, but I don't have any relationship to any of that. I've never watched that type of stuff.
What? It's not. I don't want to. I don't need to think that I just sit down at the end of the day and go, right, time to crack on the Emily Ratajkowski content for the day. It's just the reason I'm saying I think it was a big cultural touchstone is because it appeared in front of me, and this is pre-algorithm, really. You know, this is
speaking of huge cultural touchstones, I mean, this is maybe not the last big album. You had Lemonade and stuff, but this was a big, like you were saying, they done
I think
it right.
This was maybe bigger than Lemonade, though, in that it really had a lot of big pop hits. I mean, Get Lucky was crazy big for so long.
Yeah.
And it kind of looked now as, I saw a review that called this Daft Punk's 4th best album in kind of a dismissive way, which seems strange because it really is an amazing album.
Even if it was, I mean, they're just a really good band though, you know. So I guess people don't really like Human after all because it was a bit, they took 2 or 3 years to make one before that and they went, let's just go in for a month and just rattle out something quick and raw and spiky, and they put that out, and people don't really like the Tron soundtrack because it was a soundtrack, and the rest of them are really good, you know. This
really was at the height of their like industry dominance. Like they could everyone loved them.
And it's like you said, I mean, after that, everybody, the whole pop landscape kind of went into that kind of 70s Nile Rodgers type guitar funk stuff. So, I mean, I think people kind of got sick of that. And I think definitely coming back to after 10 years going, oh, they made something really cool there. It's a lot easier to do that now with a bit of distance.
Yeah, well, Nile Rodgers took a brief break from appearing at every music festival in the world to record this album. And so in the run-up to them making this album, they basically said, right, no samples. We want to, go back and make a sort of disco funk pop album, evolved from the just sort of purely dance sound of earlier stuff. So if we're going to do this, we have no record contract, so let's just make it the best that we possibly can. So let's call in Nile Rodgers, who, if you want, Chic are sort of the quintessential disco band. Let's call in Nile Rodgers to play guitar. We want it to be poppy. Well, let's get one of the biggest pop stars in the world, Pharrell, to come in as well to make this incredibly produced record. It is one of the best produced records that we've ever covered.
It's lovely.
Like,
apparently he stopped drinking water.
I saw that.
So that he didn't have to pee.
So we're doing like 15-hour jam sessions, so he stopped drinking so that he wouldn't piss. That led to a fan-made parody that I found on YouTube as well, called Pee is Stored in the Balls, which is a song in the style of Daft Punk, which lots of people think is the real Daft Punk.
Wow.
Pee is stored in the balls.
That is
wow. And they also get Giorgio Moroder in, who we've spoken about before. He worked on the Sparks album and made a little music with Donna Summers.
It seemed like an impossible dream to become a pop star, but I would drive out from my little town.
That's such a
in
cool
the
song,
countryside. I love how it starts with like the noise of a restaurant, as if you've seen Giorgio Moroder in an Italian bistro, and you've wandered over. And
waiter,
let me tell you my life story.
Please take a seat. Would you like some lasagna? It is delicious.
Would you like some nocetti al forno?
Would you like some black pepper?
Would you like mole cola? You had that mole cola?
Mole cola.
The Italian.
Roller cola.
You are. I'd love to hear Peter Kay do his Giorgio Moroder speech. My name's Peter Kay, but people call me Peter Kay.
Yes. Here's the thing, though. The album.
We're talking about Drumless.
Random Access Memories.
Yeah.
Is 10 years old. You put it on. It sounds fantastic. It's so well put together. They really have got an Avengers style rollout of session musicians to make sure everything sounds as amazing as possible. So it's 10 years. So you celebrate it by releasing a 10-year remaster. A few modern sort of processes to make it sound even better. Sure.
Yeah.
And then you go, let's take the drums out. So how does this listen drumless to you?
What's the point?
It's
You do hear stuff you don't hear, like during the touch with Paul Williams when he gets that breakdown, or is it Giorgio by Moroder where it does the kind of scratching?
Yeah,
you don't really hear that as much in the drum version.
that it becomes like a bit like Runaway, Kanye, one of his all-time deepest cuts.
Yeah.
When it basically becomes like, is this noise or is this music? What is this? But it's really amazing. So there's one or two bits where it allows other sounds to take the center stage.
Motherboard, the drum full version of that is like loads and loads of drums, and it takes that away, and it's just like wee flutes and stuff. And you're like, this is absolutely beautiful. I do feel like it's the guy who wrote all the melodies going, which I think is Balde, Tommy's, what's his name?
Balangea.
Bolongdare. I think it's him.
Bangalter.
Because he's became or is it the other one? One of them's became like a classical music composer this year. So it's probably him who's doing all the melodies and stuff. And I think he was just kind of like, I want people to hear my melodies. You know? Do I like it? It's... I don't know. It's not as good. Like, drums are so important in dance music.
Yeah, it's kind of... You listen to it and you go, there's a reason that drums are on everything.
Yeah.
Like no one releases a drumless album.
I'm trying to think of examples of drumless records.
Well, I mean, there's some like
REM lost a drummer, and instead of being like...
he lost him.
Well, he just left.
We can't find that drummer.
He's still alive. I'm not a military band. The drummer left, and then instead of getting a new drummer, they went, let's just do an album about how we miss him without him.
Right.
And then when Metallica's bass player died, obviously we spoke about that in the past, really very funny story. He got crushed by a bus.
He got squashed by a big bus.
Fell out a bus and the bus landed on him, which was really sad.
Really hard to do as well.
So impossible to do that, and he did it.
When they did it, they should have filmed it, and then you could have put, "My name is Giovanna Giorgi." My friends call me Georgie, and as the bus squashes him, with respect to Metallica,
respect to Cliff Burton, he's one of the greatest bass players of all time, but he's dead. And when he died, the next album they just had no bass.
Right,
the whole album they got a new bass player in, and then when they were in the studio, they just went nah. And people think that's a prank on the new bass player, but really it was just they were wee guys and they hadn't learned how to grieve their friend, and they didn't quit, didn't take a break, they just kept
they just turned him down. Yeah,
they just went it's an interesting record to listen to. There's no bass guitar on it at all,
and do you miss it?
You can tell,
yeah,
but it's like it makes it very like dry.
Well, that's it. You are missing a really important aspect. There's a reason that most bands have or certain things, because the second it goes away, you're like, oh. And what's worse about this is you can hear how good it does sound with drums. So you can have a direct comparison. So you listen to Contact, right?
Sure.
Which has the sort of sample of the Apollo space mission. And it's such an amazing closer to the album. I think it's incredible. And then you hear it without the drums, and you're just waiting for it to. It feels it's like it's all foreplay, no fucking.
Well, that's the thing. It's not saying this is the new version of it.
It's just a different kind of
it's
B
just
side.
do you want to hear what it's like without it? Which is cool.
Yeah,
it's cool.
I don't know if
try to be like this is the new definitive version.
I don't know if fair enough, but I don't know if it warrants a whole separate individual release.
I think it's cool that they've done something that doesn't work.
I mean, sure, it's interesting to try stuff, but I think there's so much other more interesting stuff. Like I'd rather hear a bunch of B-sides that have never been released. You know what I mean?
Because when he was talking about doing those 15-hour sessions, he wasn't actually playing any music. I mean, he was just sitting in a booth watching studio musicians jam.
Yeah.
And cutting it up. So I would maybe it would be more interesting to hear like Nile Rodgers jamming for 15 hours.
I would rather listen to that than a drumless version of fucking Get Lucky.
I would rather imagine someone not peeing for 15 hours and then them peeing, the noises they'd be making. Put that on a fucking disc.
Well, I remember Hugh Jackman talking about that.
For Wolverine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
I'm really into people's piss patterns. So you just had to say his name and I knew immediately what you were talking about.
So in order to make yourself like more ripped, basically, you don't drink water for like 24 hours, and then you pee. You do loads of pees, and you pee out every bit of water in your body, so that your skin is like really taut against your abs, and that's how he looks so sexy in X-Men.
Yeah, but he looks unnatural. He looks fucked. Looks like you can see all his organs through his skin like a amoeba.
Yeah, whereas this guy he was kind of doing the opposite.
Yeah, he's probably retain a lot of water as well. I don't know. It's not good for you to not drink water.
A classic hot take from Chris there.
There's a lot. It kind of reminded me of a thing doing. I think you said you hadn't seen this, but it's a YouTube series where they'll get a drumless version of a song and they'll show it to a professional drummer. And they'll go play what you think this drummer would play. Yep. And they do it in their own style. So they get the drummer from Megadeth to do Mr. Brightside by Killers. Right. And he's doing like... And people are like, that doesn't sound good at all.
Yeah. What are you doing?
But it's interesting. Or they got Chad. Usually they let them listen to it once all the way through to go, okay, that bit. Then they go, okay, now play it in the set. But Chad Smith from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, he just said, first time, I just want to play along with hearing it for the first time. Yeah. And it's really amazing to watch him guess that a bridge is coming and know exactly how to go halftime. Or he starts going halftime, realizes it's actually speeding up, but it seems like it just makes you really respect a good drummer.
You know what listening to this album reminded me of? This is going to sound crazy, so a little bit of a left turn here, but it reminded me of playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater when I was younger. And I think it was Thug 2 maybe.
Tony Hawk's Underground 2.
And there was a cheat. I think I may have mentioned this before, in which you could play the game in slow motion. And the point of that is more time in the air.
Adjust your balance and stuff.
So when you go up a half pipe, then you got loads of time to press the buttons to do all the tricks you want to do. It's much easier to do tricks and then, basically get points and get achievements. So I would put this cheat on to play the game.
Yeah.
And I got so used to playing it in slow motion that I remember someone came over to my house, put it on, they're like, why is it slow? And I went, I don't know. I was just playing around, too embarrassed to admit I'd been playing it in slow motion so that I could get points.
Really embarrassing, yeah.
And then we were playing fast. And then it was all of a sudden overwhelming because what was actually normal speed seemed fucking crazy to me. So when I listened to the drum versions after listening to this, it blew my fucking mind in that same way. Even though that is how it's supposed to sound.
And maybe that's the long game that they're playing. I wouldn't be surprised if, they were meaning that to happen. I would never have listened to this unless they put the drumless one out and we covered that, And now, I mean, I was saying to you, I think the drum full version, normal version, is like, I just had such a great time this week listening to it. We haven't really even spoke about most of it and we're kind of running out of time. Should we do playlist picks?
Well, no. We need to, first off,
Oh shit, got loads of stuff.
Yeah.
We take a look at the album art and we decide if it is good or false.
We take a look at the album art.
We take a look at the album art.
So this is, I mean, it kind of is perfect because it is just a reimagining of the original famous cover, one black helmet, one gold helmet, sort of fitted together poorly, but it's just taken all of the colour out of it. It's taken everything that is interesting to look at and sucked it all out of it.
Such a great title, Random Access Memory. It's that thing, RAM and ROM. Do you know the difference? I got taught that in computing.
In memory?
Read-only memory and random access memory. It's a way of storing memory on a computer. But it's also like random access memories.
You just said the same thing twice.
Yes, but there's a difference. So like random access, I mean, if anybody knows, say underneath in the comment section. If you know the difference between random access memory and random read-only memory, if you know the difference.
Yeah, okay. Read-only memories would be a good name as well then.
I don't know if it would. But I like it. It's just...
not the cover though.
Yeah, the cover's cool.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think it's so dull. Like, again, it's that thing where...
It's an experiment.
The other one is so interesting and you've just... have you seen Fury Road? Mad Max Fury Road?
I haven't, but I've pretended I have in the past.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Apparently it's very good.
It's an incredible film.
Yeah.
It's one of the best films of the 10s, actually.
Yeah. The random access memories of film.
I would say so.
Yeah,
in terms of...
Back to the past.
It's a throwback.
Done incredibly well.
George Miller, is it?
Because it's like he was doing actual stunts. He wasn't doing all that CGI.
Crazy huge stunts and also dipping into the past because Mad Max is actually like an old franchise as well. It is his franchise, but like sort of relaunching it, but using modern technology. But they released they call it the Chrome edition, Black and Chrome edition, which is the same movie
Black and Chrome
in black and white.
Oh.
And I watched it and I thought, well,
what's the point?
One of the most amazing things of that film is the use of colour. It's all shot in the Australian desert. Daft Punk were doing a gig in an agricultural corner in the farm in the corner. But and it's like, what? I just don't really understand the purpose of this other than to go, it's a bit weird, isn't it? And I just don't know if that's really worth everyone's time. And I feel the same about this cover.
I think there's a really cool blurb about this record on and it was saying, here was a world seen through the rear view, beautiful in part because you couldn't quite go back to it. And then it says, as we look back at the Earth, it's up at about 11 o'clock, about, maybe 10 or 12 diameters. The sampled voice of astronaut Eugene Cernan says on Contact, I don't know whether that does you any good, but there's something out there. This was the Apollo 17 mission, December 1972. It remains the last time humans have been on the moon.
Yeah.
The last time we ever went to the moon was the 70s. And it's like,
do you think we did?
I don't think okay. There's slight detour. I don't think we did the first time, but we have since. I'm one of the few moon truthers who thinks that the first time was fake,
right?
But then we did go.
Right, okay.
It's like,
but when was the last time we went then?
1972.
You don't think we've been back since then?
No.
Okay.
Because it's like making an album the way they made Random Access Memories. It's too expensive and it's pointless, but it's a cool thing to do.
I don't think it's pointless. I reckon there's loads of good science stuff that you could learn from going to the moon today.
I hate when it all hangs out down here. Before I go up there. That's what I've got to say.
We need to bring back Harry Hill's TV burp before we go to the moon.
Bring back Harry Hill's TV burp. Sort out a 2-state solution.
For Scotland and England.
For Scotland and England. Oh, we've got one. Cool. And other stuff. And then we'll go up to the moon.
And other stuff. And other stuff.
Other issues.
And then we'll go to the moon.
So, and then I've got a... Two guys with tattoos.
What's going on?
That's what we do. It's full sleeve face tat, baseball, wing badge,
Full sleeve. Face tat.
Baseball. Wing bat. Tattoo.
Woohoo.
Makes us
boohoo. Tattoo woohoo makes us boohoo.
So that's the tattoo. We got a football connection.
What the fuck is
We
this?
got a football connection.
Oh my
It's
god.
that guy who plays for the Tottenham Hotspurs. Do you know who he is? Jordan something maybe.
Right. Okay.
And he's got a little tattoo, as you
He's
can
got a
see here.
Here's the thing, because footballers rarely have good tattoos. Most footballers' tattoos are bad.
Well, this guy's got the Daft Punk head,
And he's got a Bart Simpson
Bart
head
Simpson
as well.
head, and then a little 4-leaf clover.
Is this a recent?
This is a guy called Jordan Grenner. I maybe think not Gordon. His name's not Gordon. I don't know why I said Gordon. But it's cool. I mean, I don't know.
I need to
Do you
get
like
this
it?
guy's.
It is good, isn't it? Woohoo.
Brennan Johnson.
Brennan Johnson.
Does he still play for Tottenham? Anyway, this makes me unhappy because
You hate the Spurs.
yes, Brennan Johnson. Yeah, he plays for. He is. Oh, okay. He is still at Tottenham. There you go.
Yeah.
Football. I hate the Spurs.
Right, but
So it's a boohoo.
no, come on.
I can't publicly woohoo a Tottenham player's tattoos, no matter how good they are. I'm sorry. Do you understand what would happen to my street cred if I were to do something like that?
It would go from non-existent to now existent
Exactly. I don't want that.
in the opposite direction you want.
I don't want anyone. I don't want any cred whatsoever.
Okay.
So no, sorry guys, but can't do.
It's
Can't
a
do it.
woohoo from me. It's really cool. He's got a Daft. It's just one of the Daft Punk hits.
We hate Tottenham. 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 We are the Tottenham haters. One of West Ham's more inventive songs.
Every week we put 2 songs apiece on the Enjoying Album playlist that you can access at playlist.st, updated by Mega Slippers and G Howlett.
So here's my question to you: do we have to put on drumless versions of the songs onto the playlist, or can we put on the drummy versions? What do you think?
For the sake of the playlist,
Mm-hmm.
you need to put the good ones on.
Okay,
Whatever you like.
I'm gonna put on Giorgio.
Marauder.
I honestly, it's 9 minutes long. It is cut with an interview with Giorgio. He actually has no, he doesn't produce the song or anything like that. They just brought him into a box. They gave him a microphone from the 60s and they just asked him to talk about his life.
Yeah.
And they cut this very Giorgio Moroder style
Did you know
synthesizers
you're always
under
talking
it.
about Kavinsky as an example of like French 80s shit?
Yeah.
Do you know fucking Thomas Bogaute was his producer? on
Absolutely.
Kavinsky stuff?
Yes. And he's involved with Phoenix as well, another amazing French band.
Phoenix was in a band with these two guys. They were in a punk band called Darlin'. And then the Phoenix guy went off and done that. Daft Punk went off to do this.
And Darling was reviewed early on as sounding like Daft Punky thrash. That's where the name Daft Punk comes from.
They should have been called Daft Punk Thrash.
Sometimes we just, you
Sometimes we read the Wikipedia pages for these
sometimes
guys
we
and
do
we
Wikipedia
really
pages
remember it.
and we really remember. Do a good job of remembering or reading.
Do you know
actual reading.
what? This isn't my pick. I had no idea that Bongo T done music sounds better with you,
Yeah.
baby. Because it's got that fucking.
They've got their fingers in all sorts of different pies. And I mean,
Pie a euphemism for robot pussy.
yeah, robot
Pussy.
And my second track is
Makes
gonna be
sense.
one of my favorite Daft Punk songs. It's called Veridis Quo. It's an instrumental piece that is really beautiful. I love running to it. There's something about it's got just the right BPM to run to. It starts quite slow, but it's just a great bit of electronic dance music.
This may be a bit of a longie. I'm going to do my 2 choices as one paragraph, but it may be a slight novella, and I'm going to try and do it as quick as possible and get into it. The song I fell in love with this week is Touch. I'd never heard it before. I heard Giorgio by Marauder on BBC Six Music.
BBC Six Radio Music.
About a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, oh, we should do Daft Punk on the podcast. And this came, I was like, that's an interesting thing to talk about. I liked it, but then Touch, it's like, oh,
every time you touch, I have this feeling.
If love is the answer, you're home. Hold on. This guy called Paul Williams. I was like, where did I know that name Paul Williams from? He wrote loads of songs. Mm-hmm. But then the thing I was interested in was a long time enjoying album head and former host of the Good Music Taste Appreciation Society. What was that? What they were called?
Yes.
Joseph Goss. One of his favourite films, and he's got really good taste and stuff. One of his favourite films is Phantom of the Paradise, which was a movie, a rock opera from the 70s with Paul Williams writing a lot of the music for it.
You sent me a scene from this, which I watched. It's fucking crazy.
So I read this article. I'd always heard of this and I never listened to it, watched it. I was like, I'll check that out at some point. And then I found out that Daft Punk, when they were 14, would go to the cinema together all the time. And the film that they saw the most and were obsessed with was Phantom of the Paradise. And there's a scene in it where a masked figure who's like a Phantom of the Opera, whose face gets destroyed by a record pressing machine, and he becomes and he puts this metal head on, and he's like, he can't.
He looks like RoboCop.
Looks like RoboCop, or looks like fucking Daft Punk. And he's playing the synth, and he's got this digital robot voice, and it's really eerie. And then Paul Williams, who sings on Touch, he's an evil record producer who signs a deal with the devil in his own blood
in the film.
Immortal. Well, whatever. He starts editing this robot guy's voice, who he's kind of brutally murdered, and has signed a contract with him. It's kind of like Faust and Phantom of the Opera and Frankenstein.
If you watch the scene, you can really be like,
oh, that's where they got it.
This is Daft Punk.
Yeah.
This is the genesis of it.
I remember having a conversation with you on this, like in the first 50, maybe the first 10 episodes. And I was like, the cool thing about Josh Homme for Queens of the Stone Age is that the way he learned how to play guitar when he was like 11 or 12 was the polka style. Where it's like a weird rhythm. And then his biggest hit, No One Knows, is like the only polka rock song it's just so interesting how someone's interest as a teenager will then come back to be the thing that makes them the most successful. Yeah. And you were like, would you have any other examples of that? And I was like, no. Yeah. And now I have found a second example.
Harry Hill's TV burp.
Harry Hill's TV burp.
And how it has bled into this.
When he was a wee boy, he burped. And now he burps professionally.
He burped whilst wearing his dad's shirt.
While wearing a big shirt. And I think that's brilliant. We need to get him on.
Get Harry on.
I think he'd talk about the Smiths, so maybe for Johnny March, we'll get Harry Hill in.
I could ask around, yeah.
You get the same agent as him?
Is he with my guys? I don't know.
Anyway.
Only one way to find out. Did you enjoy an album?
So my two picks are Touch and from the soundtrack, Faust by the first version of Faust from that, which is by the guy who gets turned into the Phantom.
Sick
also, the mask in that was then copied by the do you know the Japanese manga, what's it called? Berserk? It's got a guy called Guts in it.
No.
Oh, okay. It was a manga in Japan where they ripped off the design for the Phantom for them, and then they got ripped off by Dark Souls 1 for Artorias of the Deep and the Great Wolf Sith.
Wow.
So it's like, I could bring up Dark Souls anytime I want. And Metallica, it turns out.
Wow.
That's a superpower.
So this album I enjoyed as a way into listening to the original Random Access Memories. I can't, hand on heart, recommend the drumless version to people unless you are a real album head and you just want to hear something a bit different. I think for the most part, it's much better to listen to the drum versions. The only songs that I think are interesting that do well out of the drumless versions are Touch, Motherboard, and Giorgio Bommaroda. The rest of the album really misses the drums, particularly Contact, which the drums in that are fucking incredible, and it's so weird to listen to it without it.
It's kind of like Edge in this album.
Yeah, Contact is. If I hadn't put on Giorgio Bommaroda, I would have put on Contact onto the playlist as well because it's such an incredible song. So yeah, it is kind of like edging this album. And you don't have to edge. You can just do your Kegel exercises and.
What?
You don't know about that?
No.
All
I thought that
right.
was a woman thing.
Nah, bro.
Whoa, this guy's sitting doing exercises to come harder.
Yeah.
That's sick. And that's what this record's
My
kinda
name
like.
is Jojo, and I'm doing my pelvic floor exercises to come really hard.
My friends call me Big Cum.
Last time I come, I left a hole in the wall.
Welcome to Giorgio Moroder's Clown School. I like your robot deets. Your robot deets. Anyway, thank you so much for listening to this. I'm sorry there was so much cum chat. I feel that
There was not much cum chat.
that was a wee bit.
Not really. At the end,
do you
just
not-
at the end. You did
Yeah, yeah.
my partner has. I'm going to do some live feedback to the podcast. She said, "It's one thing you talk about cum, but I just wish Chris didn't make the noise." No, yeah.
Right,
So I think that's the last one. Okay. We're going to do a cum noiseless version of this episode.
Cumless.
The
And it's just 2 seconds long. Just starts going, yeah, good album.
The cumless edition.
Accidentally got some noises.
We hope you enjoy your week, and we'll be back next week for more album enjoyment. Once again, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And also, we're on tour. You should come see us on tour.
Oh, yeah, we should have mentioned
Yeah,
that in the first
Liam's
bit.
on tour
Really
and
important.
All over the country. Name some of the places.
Liverpool, Manchester, Leeds, Newcastle, London,
Southampton.
Brighton, Southampton, Cambridge, Aberdeen, Perth, Edinburgh, and
I've got dates.
Glasgow.
Glasgow. Ever been to Glasgow?
Glasgow.
Welcome to Glasgow.
What? Oh,
That's
what?
my kind of kilometre. Shut up. Justin Hawkins, my favourite YouTuber. Good guy. And I'm doing shows in Glasgow.
Shut up,
No, I'm not
Linus Tech Tips, my favourite YouTuber.
Nihilist Tech Tips.
Linus
Linus
Tech
Tech
Tips. Nihilist Tech Tips.
I'm only listening to Tech Tips that don't believe in anything.
So my phone has died, and so are we.
Someday so will I.
Yeah.
I'm going doing solo shows all over England. I'm in London, Newcastle, Manchester, and Birmingham in May 2024.
Link in bio.
Link in bio. And we are doing a live show in March. And
Most people have already tuned out because we wrapped up the episode. We really did a number on this one.
some people just put the some people just put the podcast on, let it roll.
Just let
Check
it
someone's
roll.
going, as soon as the information about Daft Punk ends, I will change to a different podcast. No, there's got this.
That suggests there was any information about Daft Punk. It was
there
mainly
was a
cum.
wee bit. We remembered stuff about
we read stuff. Listen, we need to go. Enjoy.
podcast sounds better with you.
We'll see you
baby.
soon. Have a good week. Love you. Bye.
Peace and love, and then you'll know what.